Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is MazezRealm once again, and welcome to another episode of my series, The Arsenal. Now for this episode, I'm going to be covering one of my favorite assault rifles in Black Ops 2, the SWAT-556, or as it's known in real life, the SIG-556. So, without further ado, I'll jump right in to the class loadout that I have for you guys today. And this is my demo assault class, which means it's really good for objective-based game modes like domination and demolition. So keep that in mind when you're equipping this loadout. So we see here that I am using the suppressor, the select fire attachment, and the quick draw handle. Now, obviously the suppressor keeps us off the minimap, so that really works well. And this weapon has the second best range of any assault rifles in the game. The only thing that outclasses this gun at range is the SMR, and that's a semi-automatic rifle. So just keep that in mind as well. So the suppressor actually doesn't really hamper you that much when it comes to the damage dealt at a longer range. Now also, the select fire gives this weapon, when it's in fully automatic, a really high rate of fire. It has over 900 rounds per minute, which is actually right there with the Type 25. So they have a very similar rate of fire when you're using the select fire attachment, and that's why we have that there. The quick draw handle obviously helps aim down sights faster, because since we're not using dexterity, it will help us get on target quickly. Now, for the wildcards, obviously you need primary gunfighter in order to equip 3 attachments, and perk 2 greed in order to stack scavenger and toughness, and then the remaining 2 perks are flak jacket and tac mask. So now we'll go ahead and jump right in to the gameplay, and it is a domination match on the map Raid. Now the cool thing about the map Raid is that it actually has really nice long sight lines for both snipers and assault rifles. I know that a lot of people choose to rush with submachine guns in this map, and while that can be a good strategy depending on how good of a rusher you are, it is a definitely good thing to equip an assault rifle or a sniper rifle in this particular map, especially a assault rifle that has really good range, such as the SWAT-556. Now, you see that this class allows me to play in a way where I can play the objective aggressively, but not die while playing that objective. And that is exactly what this loadout does best. I have several loadouts for the SWAT-556 because, as I mentioned before, it's one of my favorite assault rifles to use in Black Ops 2. But this loadout I wanted to share with you guys because it is a complete objective-based game mode juggernaut class. That's what it is. I mean, if you are, dealing with people that have bouncing betties and shock charges, you can run right through them and kill them, and then take the objective right in front of them. And that's why it is a great assault rifle to use, where there are nice long sight lines. With the select fire attachment, though, it's very forgiving, because in close quarters combat, you're also a really deadly player as well. So this gun will shine at long range, it will shine at close range, and it's actually pretty decent from the hip when using the select fire attachment. And so a lot of people really don't think of a weapon that has, a burst mode feature to be really good from the hip, but this particular weapon, when you have it on fully automatic, performs quite well from the hip. So just in case, if you have to fire a few shots from the hip before you aim down sights, this gun really does well in close quarters combat in that particular way. So definitely keep that in mind when using the SWAT. Also, the mobility on assault rifles is probably the highest it has been in any Call of Duty. So when using the SWAT-556, you can actually use it somewhat aggressively, considering that it has a really high rate of fire. In fact, it's like the second highest behind the M8A1 or the XM8 and the Type 25, which both have around a 900 round per minute fire rate. So those are two other guns that have a really high rate of fire, but none of them have the same range that this weapon has. And so that is why a suppressor works really, really well on the SWAT-556, because it just doesn't really hamper you at distances. So if you are trying to shoot someone at really, really long range, put the bad boy on select fire and just burst fire it, and you can take him out at really long range. If you want to, take care of everybody at medium to close range, then just go ahead and put it in fully automatic. And that's the cool thing about the SWAT. It gives you that versatility and dependability as well in almost every situation. So you see here that since I don't have Ghost, I am playing the objective so defensively that the enemy can not even get close to the Bravo flag or the Charlie flag. I mean, they did everything they possibly could to kill me on those flags, and they just couldn't do it because of the tac mask perk and the flak jacket perk, which basically make grenades and flashbangs and stun grenades and all of those things completely useless towards you. And that's something that you really need to keep in mind when you're playing an objective very aggressively. I know that domination can be very unforgiving to people that play the objective very, very strongly, and because you can die taking the objective, it's really, really good to equip flak jacket with tactical mask. I mean, that's a really important combination to use when you're playing domination. And then when you have a weapon as good as the SWAT-556, then it just makes doing well in domination or demolition or whatever game mode you choose to play with this loadout. It will just make you into a force to reckon with, and that's what this episode of the Arsenal is really all about. It's to make you guys not only better at the game with the loadouts that I provide, but also become better at game modes that you're not really familiar with, like say domination or demolition or even search and destroy. So I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent of referring to the game mode that this class does well in, but let's go back to the gameplay here and see what is going on. So now you see that I'm on a pretty decent gun streak and kill streak as well. My first death was in the beginning of the match, and I haven't died since. If you guys have been paying attention to the gameplay, you would have seen that. So now you see that there's an enemy that's way long range with an XM8, it seems like, or an M8A1, that is just bursting over and over and over again and hitting that concrete barrier and just not doing anything to really kill me on that flag. So I captured it by myself. And usually it's not recommended to capture a flag by yourself because it takes really, really long to do that. But this class gives you a little bit of an edge, so I decided to go ahead and capture it by myself because I knew that the only way this guy can flush me out is by winning a gunfight at close quarters. And that is something that would have been difficult considering he had just emptied his entire magazine and I had a full magazine on tap. So that would have unfortunately hampered him quite a bit. So this class forces other players to play a little bit more intelligently against you. And unfortunately for the enemy team, they just were not playing intelligently. They weren't really playing the objective very well, and we were destroying them. I was playing this match with Markland, with Charon Phantom, and one of my subscribers declared dead. He was on the Double Talk show this past week. So, I was playing with all of those guys, and it's really good to play in a team when you're playing domination, and especially when using this type of loadout. Because you don't have ghosts or any really defensive perks when it comes to being seen with aerial kill streaks or hunter killer drones or something like that, it really helps when you have teammates that are either running UAVs and counter UAVs, or they're just not letting the team get any of those point streaks. And that's exactly what was going on in that particular match, and that's why we won with a score of 200 to 49. And so that's basically my commentary for you guys for this loadout, and I really hope that you guys like this loadout as much as I did. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to check out my previous episode of the Arsenal. I know that you guys really like these loadouts, and I'll keep them coming for you guys. So just check out that previous episode. Also, if you want to watch a similar series to this one, you can watch my Keys to Success series that does really well on my channel as well. If you haven't subscribed already, you can easily do that by clicking on the subscribe button right there on the top right. It really helps me out a whole bunch, and it doesn't take that much time. So just go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, just go ahead and follow me on Twitter by hovering over that Twitter icon there on the top left. And if you want to check out the rest of my playlist and everything else that I have to offer on my channel, you can click on the MazezRealm icon there on the bottom of your screen. So until next time, this has been MazezRealm. I'm out.